All right. Another episode of Pop and Sons, man. I'm Pop,
I'm son.
and we have a special guest, and I'm so excited because she got a great movie that I watched that she'll be breaking it down for everybody that's watching. Miss Nicole Beverly, let's welcome her.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
Thank
Of
you.
course.
Um, so Nicole, I want to ask you this. So I am a firm believer in like I can't stand domestic violence. Like that's like a pet peeve of mine. So I kind of watched your movie, and I was going through a lot of emotions. I was up and down. I was mad. I really wanted to, and ain't gonna be technically ghetto on here. I want to say baby daddy, but I'm gonna say kid's father. I really wasn't digging them, but we're gonna talk about that. But I
You
want you to
could you could
explain
even say abuser. You could say abuser.
abuser.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
true,
the
yeah.
abuser. The abuser, because I was really mad. Let me get that emphasis since she gave me
Yeah.
the go ahead to say it. So Cole, I just want you to explain to the viewers, your background about the movie, and your inspiration about the movie, because it's inspired by a true story, which is you. Tell everybody about the movie itself.
Yeah, so I am a by profession, I'm actually a clinical social worker, but I also am a survivor of domestic violence, stalking, and multiple attempts by my ex-husband to hire people to kill me from prison once he was finally held accountable. I've done a lot of work. Like once I went through my healing, which it took a long time. Like I didn't talk about my abuse for about 2.5 years. I suffered in silence. I didn't tell anyone after I left until I did some therapy and I came to the conclusion of like, you're not the one to carry the guilt and shame. This isn't your fault. And I kind of turned it around. And that's when I started telling my story and things kind of took off from there. But in the meantime, there was risk of him getting out of prison, and that's when the first person came forward. And the movie only shows you guys one. Not to get too far. Too, I'm not going
Yeah,
to
yeah,
spoil
yeah.
the
We don't want
movie
to
for
get too
anyone
far
who
into it.
hasn't
Yeah, yeah.
seen it
That's how I
yet.
try to keep the questions too. This is a
Uh,
good movie. Good movie.
but in reality, four people came forward saying that he had attempted to hire them to kill myself and the kids from four different correctional facilities. So the story, like, had we had more time, like it truly should have been a series because so much took place and it was so hard to condense surviving and all the things, all the times the police ignored my calls for help and how hard I had to fight for justice in an hour and a half. It was incredibly difficult, but I wrote a book first because I was trying to do advocacy work and I just felt like I kept running against brick walls. And I'm like, what can I do that's in my control that I could help people? And so I wrote my book called Finding Nicole. And the whole back section is actually a guidebook for anyone going through abuse. So that it goes anything from like how to safety plan, how to protect your home on a budget. Because when I left, you guys, I had three laundry baskets of clothes, nothing else. Like he had control of all of our finances. It was rough
Hey,
for
let
quite a
me tell you
while.
this, Cole. Before I won't forget it, but it's on the top of my brain. You're very brave. People don't understand. You got to be very brave. What you did for your babies, and I feel like made a motherly and conscious life. This made it, from like I say, we off in it, but very brave person.
I was
Well,
gonna say, I hate how I want this. People don't understand it's not that easy.
no,
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
not.
It's a lot of things. I
It,
mean, you.
yeah, we definitely talk about that because there's always an emotional tie to it. Try to break away from the emotions, the feelings. It's a lot to it, but Cole is very brave,
And
y'all. I had some more
and
questions, Cole. Like,
yeah.
so the kids, I know it was rough for them getting them back on track and all of that. To this day, like I think the viewers might want to know. I want to know: is there any, because they were so young? Is there any real resent or hate towards their father or that man? We'll say that man.
Yeah, so when so they unfortunately, and that was one of the things that I was carrying so much in guilt and shame for, is because I did stay for way longer than I should have. So my kids absolutely witnessed the abuse. Not just the physical abuse, but years of emotional abuse, name calling, put down. So I was so worried, how is this going to impact them? Because if you grow up seeing that, you're much more likely to become a victim or a perpetrator of violence, right? Because that's what you know.
Right.
And so I was so concerned about that. And when I left, they were 6 and 10, and I got them into therapy, but then things continued. The stalking continued. They were exposed to that. The attempts to hire, they were exposed to that. So that went well into my oldest son's high school years. So it was continuous trauma exposure, right? Um,
My nose, I'm sorry, my nose ain't never gonna get it together. Never flared up on here. I'm getting upset because again, very strong. Go ahead, Cole. I'm trying to hold it together
yeah,
because I know it's a great. Just everybody, y'all go see Finding Nicole is a great movie. Go ahead, Cole. I finished. I'm sorry.
yeah, no, it's okay. So I, did everything that I could to help them. But then also one of the most important things, and I think it's important for victims, especially female victims with young men, um, as children, is getting them involved in activities where they're going to have positive male role models. That was huge, right? Because like their coaches, friends, fathers really stepped up and helped model those positive behaviors and took my kids under their wings, and things that as a mother I couldn't do, or they weren't going to listen to me, right? Because what do I know? I'm just, I'm their mom. Especially through sports, and my oldest son, one of the things Max abuser used to say to me is, he'll never get a D1 football scholarship if I'm not in the picture. And so the day he signed his D1 letter was like such a huge victory to me, because I was like, in your face, because I did it as a single mom, and he got that full ride. So that was
And
a powerful, beautiful moment for me
you know
and for
what?
all of us.
You telling us that is very. I played football, so it's dedication to it. I know, it's a lot of emotion. Like you got to step on. It's a turn on, turn off switch. So your baby, went through a lot of stuff, but I mean, maybe it turned the switch on, made him who he is. Um, and congratulations to that.
Yeah. I was
Um,
about to say, my over again. They went through something easily.
it had some anger.
Instead, happened to her mama. Nicole put him in the right position.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. With that being like, okay, let's get on this. So I'm gonna talk about a Cashmere member, Shamari, Mr. Shamari. I talked to him, and when I got on the phone, I was like, hey man, I'm gonna be interviewing Cole, and I'll see you, Saturday. And I was like, I didn't like your character, and I probably told him that. That's why I looked at. I don't like your character, and we laughed, and I said, but you did your job, and
Yeah.
it it was just a great movie, Cole. I'm trying to talk about it without people not, I want them to be interested in it without me saying too much.
Watch,
But it's definitely something to watch. So I have this game I usually play. I'll be wanting to dig off into my guests' minds about. It's just
Okay.
honest, just questions. Where you at? All right, so all right, just you a Pepsi or a Coke person?
Coke.
Oh, that's pretty hard. That's pretty hard on Pepsi. McDonald's or Wendy's?
McDonald's.
Buy the fries.
The fries and the Coke.
Now, okay, now you know what I'm going to say that I don't. I think I don't like the Coke in the bottle, but I do like the McDonald's Coke. I will say that.
There's something special in McDonald's Coke.
Yeah,
There's no denying
but
it.
I
I
can't
don't know
never
what.
get to it because I can't get past the orange drink. um, Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune?
Wheel of Fortune. I'm Jeopardy. I don't think I'm smart enough.
Oh, don't say. Hey,
know
I
the
still be like. I
answers.
mean, a lot of
You gotta
times
study for.
you
for
do,
yeah,
but
you
a
gotta
lot of
study.
times Jeopardy they'll have the answer in the question. You just
True.
gotta pay attention.
True.
That's true.
Um, Michael Jackson or Prince?
Michael Jackson. So growing up,
Okay.
I had Michael Jackson all over my bedroom. Not gonna lie.
Which mic did you like? The in between mic? Did
um,
you like the black mic, the white mic, or and then
I
he's
feel
got an in
like
between mic. I don't know what
he
color
was
that is.
it was like the in between because it was like in the late mid 80s,
Yeah.
right? There was one poster I had. He had like a yellow sweater vest with
So
the white
he was
glove and the
still in
white
beat it. He
pants.
was still in beat it mode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I take that mic. I'm a Prince and Michael fan. I like
I mean, I
Mike.
love
You know.
them both, but if you made
Yeah.
me
I don't
pick,
know.
I'd
To
have
me,
to
it's
go with
always
Mike.
been no competition.
See,
At
but I
least,
but
at least to me.
let me just say this though, being a heterosexual male, and I'm not saying anything about Prince, but I don't know if I could have been front row and he turned around with them little booty pants and he shake his booty in front of me. I don't
What
know if
might
I
get
could.
in your it might be
Yeah,
right in your
you know, he
face.
do that little wiggle. No, it's
Nah.
okay. I'll take that. Okay, one more I got for you. Denzel or Tom Cruise?
Oh, Denzel, Tom Cruise. Yeah,
Tom
no
ain't doing
question.
it.
Uh,
Tom ain't doing
I'm
it.
leaning
Tom's a
to
little
leaning
Tom
towards
is
Mike.
like I just imagine him, I just picture him as this little man jumping on Oprah's couch still. Like, do you guys remember
The
that
Mission
situation?
Impossible guy? That means
Yeah,
Mission
he can't
Impossible.
he also like there was some like talk of him being a very controlling individual with Katie
I
Holmes,
heard
his
it. I heard
wife.
that.
Mm-hmm.
I heard
Yeah.
that.
And so like I think about those pieces too. So yeah, there's no question.
So I got so many questions, but we ain't got that much time. But we still gonna, we get to continue this. If y'all don't know, we have the premiere. Nicole has a premiere in Troy, Michigan, at the MJR movie theater. Right?
Mm.
Make sure I put that out there. Right?
Yeah,
And
and unfortunately, just so everyone knows, that event is sold out. In hindsight, like if I could, we probably could have sold close to 500 tickets, but they made me like decide how many we were going to sell like 2 weeks ago.
man,
And so we capped at 350. Had they not made me do that, like the number of people reaching out for tickets has been crazy. So unfortunately, it's sold out. However, we will be doing another screening. It's kind of far from here in Lapeer in June. And then I'm hoping in October we'll be back in Ann Arbor for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I'm hoping to partner with one of the theaters downtown and maybe with the School of Social Work through U of M or Eastern Michigan.
okay. Well,
Okay.
we reside close to Ann Arbor. Reach out to us again. Um, can you tell the people where they can find the movie on all social? Well, it's gonna be on all socials, you guys, but on the platforms that you are viewing.
Yeah, so right now it has released on Apple TV, Prime Video, Fandango, Xfinity, Spectrum, Uverse On Demand, Dish, DirecTV, Sling, YouTube, Xbox, Google Play, Fios by Verizon. That's a new one for me, so I hope I'm saying that right, you guys. Um, so pretty much any
On
North
everything.
American outlet we could have gotten, we got, which is a really big deal to be
And
an
ask for
indie
more.
as
Hmm.
an indie film to get those opportunities.
I seen all the platforms. Again, if you guys don't know about Finding Nicole, y'all go check it out. It is a dope movie. It's I think all younger. I say all domestic violence people that's in domestic relationships see it, but I think the younger generation that's going into
Mm-hmm.
relationships really learn they don't have to drag it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't feel, you got to make your way. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that being
Know
said,
the red flags.
yeah, the
Yeah.
red flags to do. So I'm gonna have you touch on that one time before we get out of here. Um, I want you to tell our viewers and other little women that something going through things like you, or maybe think they're in a relationship they need to get out of, and you put a niche on what you think are the turning points. No, you should.
I mean, it's a really good question. For me, because I waited a long time, it was really at the point where I knew if I didn't leave, I was going to be killed. And I want to take this moment to share one fact that's really important, I think, for victims to know is strangulation or attempted choking is the number one predictor for homicide in domestic violence relationships. So if
Gotcha.
your partner has tried to choke you, strangle you, you are at the highest risk factor for being killed by that person if you don't leave that relationship. So I think that's a critical thing for people to know, because across all the studies that have been done, that is the number one predictor. But if I could go back in time and if I had known the red flags sooner, like the minute someone starts to control your choices, tell you what you can do, who you can talk to, who you can spend time with, out. Like, no. Someone's trying to control your finances, absolutely not. Someone doesn't value your opinions, um, doesn't, my one of my ex's favorite things to do would he'd be like, he'd ask me like, where do you want to go to dinner? And I would express it, and he'd say, well, no one cares anyway because no one gives a shit about your opinion.
Mm.
Crazy stuff like that, right?
Oh my god.
So if you don't feel valued and you don't feel like, I always tell people you have to love yourself. You have to love yourself because if you don't love yourself, you're going to end up in a relationship with someone who does not treat you with the value and respect that you deserve. And that's when these manipulators and abusers find their way in because they can see that in us if we don't love ourselves and that we're going to put up with the bullshit and not, I'm sorry, is it okay if I swear?
Oh yeah, yeah. Go ahead, go
Hey,
ahead.
this
Yeah,
podcast,
Okay.
we a
Sorry.
family. I brought we all family. We don't
Okay, I'm like,
yeah,
wait a
we don't
second.
discriminate.
I
Yeah.
swear a lot, so I'll try not
Uh,
to do too much. But
if you only knew when this
um,
camera was
oh
off.
man, this is sailor right here,
okay,
man.
okay, good. I feel better now. But you do not have to put up with that bullshit because there are so many people in this world who aren't going to treat you that way, and also don't believe the promises to change because that was one thing I got sucked in. Oh, I'm going to change. I'm going to get help. It's going to get better. But over and over again, like the third or fourth time, if it hasn't happened, it's not going to happen. You can only give someone so many chances and then you have to move on. You have to move on. And especially if you have
Mm.
kids, you do not, take it from me, you do not want your kids growing up seeing that as a model for their future relationships because I meet young men and women when I do events and speak at high schools who talk to me afterwards on both sides and they say like, I don't know different. How do I change myself? How do I, because this is what I know and this is what I grew up with. So how do I change this now? And so you don't want that model for your kids.
Well, autism, pedophilia, and domestic violence is something that me and Kid J really don't like. Um, and we always around Big Trick. Shout out to Trick Trick. Trick, I had sent him your movie link. It's
Mhm.
it's emotion in there, and I think everybody can watch it. Every age, young women, older women, young men, older men.
Mm-hmm.
We got to treat each other right. And this movie right here showed me that I know it was some sadistic, different type of people in the world, but now I know somebody, which I know this is my friend Nicole. You guys, now I know somebody that actually been through it, and it's a true story. And I watched the story, and I'm just like, and I know she's been at some of. Y'all go watch the movie. That's all I'm
Yeah.
gonna say. Little
I was gonna
women
say
listen to
it's
Nicole
not
too.
it's inspirational for men and women,
Yeah,
especially the young female. From experience, I've learned that toxic relationships all the way back to high school. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I feel like the young ladies really need, you know
yeah,
what I mean,
yeah.
start something real early.
Definitely. And she's on all platforms. All I want to say is this lady right here, when I met her, heart was heart of gold. And I want her to just continue her success. The movie is great. Again, you guys go check it out.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nicole, for joining us.
Thank
We
you guys
we
so
on a mission.
much.
We on a mission. We got Saturday. We got the premiere.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting. I'm getting chill, but I was thinking about it.
Hey,
Sold out.
if I will say, first time we met Nicole, came home and did our research on you, Nicole, I was like, man, I can't believe somebody did that to Nicole. I was so mad. I was like, she's so sweet. I don't know.
Because, you know, honestly, to be honest, I've been with Mom, Jay's 20. You know, never have a physical fight. You don't have to fight. I tell people all the time that runs the love away. So I try to, when I go to do my motivational speaking to young men, I tell them, you know, the women you love, you're gonna make hate you. So, you know, it's
Yeah.
best to treat them, you know, the way you want to be treated. You can't make somebody do. Again, Nicole, you
And
are
I
a blessing.
and I'm Can I just add one thing? And I love
Yeah.
that you're doing that and you're having those conversations, because that's something that people have to ask themselves, like, do you want someone to love you or do you want someone to be afraid of you? Right? Because if they're afraid of you, they're not going to stay. You want them to love you, right? And I think that is something that a lot of young men, especially those who've grown up witnessing it, they don't understand the difference between the power and control and the love. And I would love to talk more with you about that, and how we can really start shifting the paradigm and getting thoughts to change for the young men early. Like you said, high school is, you're most likely to get into an abusive relationship between 16 and 24, probably even younger now. But I would love to talk more about that and how we can start creating more change,
Yeah,
because that's the only way
I'm
we're
all
going to
for it.
make a difference.
I'm all for it because I have one daughter, and I know how I feel about her, and I can't imagine, you know, my little girl going through. So I don't, and I want them to go watch the movie, but I don't. I'm at a loss for words when it comes down to what I've seen you go through and how strong each day for you and your babies and how y'all did everything. I won't even say. I don't want to say that you did it the only way you could do it at the time. I don't want to say you did it the right way, but at the time you found a way to do it the right way and escape. So, that being said, I am so blessed and honored to be acquainted with you, a friend of yours. Taught me a lot with this movie. Love in this movie, is hating this movie, trail in this movie. Y'all go watch the movie. And thank you for coming on, Poppin' Some. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys, and I'm excited to see you on Saturday.
All right, see you.
Nicole Beverly, y'all, another wrap up of Poppin' Some. Y'all go see it, man. Finding Nicole, man. Everybody go see it. For all ages. Get out of here.